right. Good morning. Welcome back. All righty. How we doing? Disclaimer, we are not leaving Discord. Morning, guys. Welcome back. How's my Nvidia trade? Up a lot. I'm up $8,000 this morning. Right here. 8,100. So yeah, it's it's looking pretty good. It's a pretty nice morning. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, up 7,000 on Nvidia, up 370 on Microsoft, up 250 on Shopify, up 570 on SPY, and then pretty much flat on this little Boeing trade. Yeah, it's a good looking morning. So we'll see. But yeah, there's my broker for you. I think if I get to 100K here, guys, I think the right thing to do here is just deposit or withdraw like 50K. I think that's my plan. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the live stream. Welcome back to a crazy time. What a month. So it's been hot. Market's been hot. Really nice hold yesterday. Again, if you guys watched my video on Monday, for those that watch the channel, that watch the videos, take that time, right, to really watch, sort of some of the education I provide. We talked about that S&P, that SPY, that SPX hold over that Friday high. And that was the key. That was the key, right? Yesterday, we pulled back to that exact same level, and we held it, and we ripped off of it, and that was really it, right? That was, again, my mindset coming into yesterday, right? That pullback to that demand, long the things that I like off that demand, look to play, pullback longs. As long as this market continues to hold the structure that we've been talking about, continue to look for those pullback longs and ride this thing. This is not the time in the market to try to time a top, right? This is not the time in the market to think that you're the Nostradamus of the world and you're going to find and know exactly where the market tops, right? As long as this market continues to hold key demand structure, we continue to long the market, right? And that's what we continue to see here. And if you can just be on the right side of it, right? If you could just accept it and continue to watch those demands and take longs off of them, it's gonna pay off, right? It's gonna pay off. So until something breaks here, let's continue to do the same thing that we've continued to do, and just trust that trend, continue to follow it, trust the levels, trust the trend, and you can see right now that Nasdaq's really pushing. And what's funny, which we're about to go over, this level that you are pushing off right now is that all-time high on the Nasdaq futures, which is pretty bullish, right? Look how the Nasdaq just pulled back and held the previous all-time high. So pretty wild there, right? Pretty wild. That's a very nice little short-term hold that we're seeing right now in the Nasdaq futures. I put 25,000 in, then I put another 25. So right around that 40, I think it was around 47 to 50,000, Sebastian, is where I started the year. Netflix, yeah, what a move on Netflix. Crazy move there on earnings. I think it did beat the expected move, so those calls will likely be up if it maintains into open. Yeah. Let's get started, guys. So welcome back. Thank you again for being here. I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you're enjoying the live streams. I hope you're enjoying the content. I've been really grinding this year, man, and I think it's helping me. All right, I think it's helping my trading as well, right? Just really staying in tune with the market every day, reviewing my trades, every day I've been making a video reviewing my trades, and I think it's helping me actually as a trader to do that, to stay on that kind of discipline. So maybe something to, if you, right? Trading takes a lot, right, guys? I mean, it's not, we got to be honest with ourselves. Trading is not something you can pop into, once in a while and just sort of come into the market and make some money, right? So it's been helping me, I believe, being very consistent with both the trading content that I've provided and going over my trades. So maybe just a little bit of a tip for some of you guys out there. The long term is up to the right. It's up to the right, my friend. So year to date, this isn't updating. I don't know why. Like, look, it's just not moving. I don't know why. M1, the new update M1 did is cool, but this does not work. So something needs to be fixed there. But the long term's up to 112. Yeah, it's good. This, though, is concerning, right? This is concerning. I'm actually a little bit concerned about Tesla. I'm not going to lie. This is the first time since I've invested in Tesla that I'm a little bit concerned about the stock. I see a few cracks in the thesis for Tesla that I'm sort of concerned about long term for the stock. I don't like some of that. I don't like some of the news I'm seeing about like batteries in the cold. So like how I talked to I have a couple buddies at Hertz. I used to work at Hertz, if you guys didn't know that. I used to be a revenue management analyst at Hertz at the headquarters, and I have buddies there, so I stay in touch with them. I went to lunch with them, and you guys probably saw that news about Hertz, selling their Tesla vehicles, and they would telling me that in like the cold airports, let's say like Chicago, up north, when it was really cold, their Tesla vehicles would die, almost lose 50% of battery in like freezing cold weather, and that's not good, right? That's not good for, that's not very good for Tesla, right? For sort of the whole idea of purchasing a electric vehicle, that's gonna piss off a lot of people up there, right? If I owned a Tesla in Chicago and I woke up to my battery being dead because of the cold weather, that's actually one of the first, sort of the first product flaws that I see, which is a problem. So a little bit interesting there, right? Just a little bit interesting there on Tesla. I don't know how this sort of works out. So something to watch, right? Sort of something to keep an eye out for. Sort of that. Yeah, it's normal for electric cars, but that's not good that's normal, right? It's not good. It's not good. It's something that could definitely affect the market longer term. Now, in Florida, right, it's really not a problem. I love my Tesla. I have a Tesla Model Y, and I love it. It's probably one of my favorite cars I've ever owned. I absolutely adore the car. It's beautiful for getting around town. But, you got to think large term if you're an investor in the stock, right? I'm not that. I could see why I wouldn't buy one if I was in a very cold climate area, right? I could see why I wouldn't buy one. So, yeah, just something to sort of consider there. Something I've been sort of having on my mind lately. All right. Welcome back, guys. I hope you guys hope you're having a fantastic morning. As always, let's get started. Let's jump right into it. First of all, let's pull up that economic calendar. Here it is. Today is Wednesday at 9:45. Flash manufacturing PMI, flash services PMI. Something to watch today. 9:45, 15 minutes in the open. So let's keep an eye on that. 10:30 crude oil inventories, and that's that for today. Tomorrow, GDP, unemployment claims. Those are the big two tomorrow morning. 8:30 pre-market, and then Friday, core PCE price index. Guys, I will not be here Friday. Just a reminder. No live stream on Friday. Okay, I'm going away. I'm going to see family and friends, and I think this is a great time for me to take a Friday off. Right after a really hot week, really hot month. Friday 0 DTE could be it could be something that I get too ballsy on, too greedy on, right? With some of the win I've had, right? I definitely want to avoid that temptation, and I think this Friday could be probably one of the best days for me to take off. So Friday, no live stream. I'm not going to trade. I'm going to take that day off and just retain what I have. And then that's going to be pretty much the end of the month. And that'll be probably where I start to think about some withdrawals in the account just to protect what I have. So that's that. That's my plan right now. Wednesday, Thursday, that's that. All right, let's continue. Today, Tesla earnings, guys. Tesla earnings, right? This is big. Now, if you guys have watched Tesla earnings over the past few quarters, it typically does not really move on earnings, if you guys have noticed that. Tesla does not typically move that much on earnings, right? There's usually a pretty major implied volatility crush on Tesla. At least that's what I've noticed over the last few quarters. There's been a pretty major implied volatility crush on Tesla over the last few quarters. So I would be very careful, guys. Don't walk into Tesla earnings and be like, oh, I'm going to catch this major move, especially with some of the weakness that we've seen. It's going to be interesting to see. If Tesla goes higher on earnings, I could almost see that thing getting completely sold into again, right? That could be a very possible situation where you have this weakness on Tesla that every upside push is being sold into. You get a pop on earnings for whatever reason, maybe some shorts, short covering, a little bit of a pop on that stock, and then that whole system just starts working again, right? The whole selling into strength starts again. So I'm not interested at all, not one bit. There's absolutely zero reason for me to try to chase a shiny object, gamble on Tesla earnings. So be careful. I would personally recommend not to even look at the stock today. I don't think you're going to have good trades on Tesla today. The implied volatility is going to be very high. The option contracts are going to be very difficult to get a move. The overall price action is probably going to be complete shit. So I would stay as far as you possibly could be from Tesla today. That's my personal opinion. I could be totally dead wrong, but that's how I would protect myself. Okay, so Tesla earnings after close today, very important, something to watch, but I don't think something to trade. ASML this morning, very good earnings. It's helping the semiconductors, I believe. So that's something to see there, something to watch there. Rest of the week's pretty silent on the earnings side. American Airlines, Southwest. Something to notice, guys, something to keep an eye out for. Boeing has been getting trashed in the news from some of the major airline CEOs. Some really ugly words, right? Just sort of like, we're not interested in Boeing as much, sort of things like that. You got news this morning that a wheel fell off of a Boeing plane this morning. So I don't know, man. Boeing's probably taking the biggest L of 2024 right now. And I think it's down a little bit in the pre-market as well. So the only thing that I would say, if you are interested in Boeing, I would maybe take a listen to what some of these airline CEOs are talking about, right? Maybe what does American Airlines CEO say about Boeing? Because you know for sure that these airline CEOs are going to be asked these questions on the earnings call, right? The analysts that come in and talk about, and ask questions on the earnings call are absolutely 100% going to be asking about Boeing. So something to watch. Southwest and American Airlines tomorrow morning. I'm sure they're going to be asked about BA. So keep an eye on that if you are short Boeing. Intel, Visa tomorrow afternoon, and then that's about it. American Express to end the week. All right, let's get started. So, man, Nasdaq, what a push. And what level did we hold on the Nasdaq? We held the 17,430 level that we have been talking about, right? This 17,430 Monday low. Yesterday, we did the same damn thing, right? We held this on Monday. We held this all day yesterday, right? A beautiful little double bottom day over day and a very nice, hold at that level. Boeing's going higher. Okay, yeah, Boeing's rebounding off that 208. Got it. So very, very nice, right? Little hold at this area on the Nasdaq futures. 1, 2, 1, 2, right? A very strong demand hold. Very nice push to end the morning. And very key, these are the two key levels that held here in the after hours pre-market. Number one was this high from Monday. You guys see this high right here? This high from Monday. And that Friday close, this was 17,570, right? See how we had that rejection at 17,570? Look at what happened right here, right? Look at this. See how the Nasdaq just sort of held above 17,570 here in the after hours yesterday? That is very key, right? See this hold right here? That's a very key little level that held there. So that's number one, right? That's level one right here. If we pull back to this level today, this could be a very interesting long entry, right? Right in this area. If we pull back to this previous support that came in after hours yesterday, which was previous double top highs, this could be a very interesting long entry today around that 17,570. Okay? So watch that. Watch this right here. That could be a very nice first potential long entry if we get a pullback to that level. Now, if we do not get a pullback to that 17,570, this is the level you're watching today. This is 17,644, 17,645. The previous all-time high was right around this area. I'm going to go ahead and extend this to the left. The previous all-time high was 17,647. So if we go into the 15-minute chart, you can see, look at what the Nasdaq just did at that previous all-time high this morning. All right, this was the previous all-time high on the Nasdaq futures, the March 2024 contracts. You can see we broke it. We came back down into it. We maintained here, right? And you can see we're pushing off of it right now. So the fact that the Nasdaq this morning is maintaining above the previous all-time high at 17,647, right? That is bullish. And there is absolutely zero reason to be shorting into that level today. Zero. And I stand by that to the death of me. There is zero reason to try to short if the Nasdaq is above previous all-time highs. So look for that. If you see us pull back today, right, do not short a pullback into this level. This could be where you hold again, right, and continue higher. If you break under this level, right, if you break back under that daily chart high, then maybe there's something of downside, right? Maybe to fill the pre-market gap, right? There could be a little downside here to fill the pre-market gap, right? That's very potential. But I still just would not even consider that trade because of how strong the market has been. So there is a potential short here on a rejection back under that previous all-time high for a downside move into that 17,570, right? That's very possible. You could potentially catch this little short if you're really wanting to short into this strength. That's up to you. I'm not going to recommend it, but that's something you could look for if you really need to short something. So watch this right here, 17,650, and watch this 17,570. These are my two levels that I'm watching for pullbacks, right here. 1 and 2. Those are my two levels I'm watching today. Let's see if we get those pullbacks and we get those long opportunities. Now, the day could get a little bit difficult if we don't get pullbacks, right? If this thing just sort of moves, right, and we don't get these pullbacks, this is where the day could get a little bit difficult, right? Because then you really need to zone in on sort of that intraday trend. You need to pay attention to what intraday levels are being created. Where is demand being stepped up intraday, right? If we do not get pullbacks to these key levels today, that's going to be, potentially a more difficult day. It's actually easier, right, to long when you get the downside, right? TradingView is showing 17,716. I don't know, man. I don't know why, right? I can't tell you why. On my charts, I'm just going off what's on my charts, my friends. So that's the all-time high for me. You can see it right here in my charts. I'm not lying to you. This is the NQ March 2024 contracts, and the high of this candle is 17,647. I can't tell you why it's different. Maybe it's on the 4-hour. Maybe the 4-hour has a wick up there, but on the daily chart, and I go back as far as I can on this contract, the high is 17,647. And you can see the perfect reaction at this level this morning. So I'm trusting this level. This is very valid on my charts. You can see it right there. So there we go. That's my plan on the Nasdaq. Let's see if we can get those pullback longs. That's the key. All right. QQQ, right? QQQ. You guys can see right here. We talked about that 421 level. You have this previous low. You have this low that came in again yesterday. A perfect double bottom low over the last 2 days on the QQQ at 421. That Nasdaq is adjusted for contract change. You can see it right there. Okay, let's just continue, guys. Whatever your high is, put it on your charts. So previous highs, right? Previous low demand on Monday, held demand again yesterday. That's a beautiful 421 hold yesterday. Absolutely perfection there. Today we are over. Yeah, I'm making up levels. That's right. Today we are over that 424.70. You can see right here. It's around that 424.50, 425. I'm putting it like right at this wick high right here. The wick high here from Monday pre-market is 424.70. So I have that level marked out, 424.70. I would watch pullbacks into like all the way into like 424.50. But that is the previous high here on the QQQ. You can see it right there. And what I would want today, right, to get a really clean pullback entry would be this, right? Back into this high, back towards that 425, 424.70 level. That would be a fantastic little long level to watch there today. So number one here, back towards that 424.70, 425. The other one that I'm going to watch is this little 423 area. This would be my second long level to watch, right here. So 1, 2 are two pullback areas that I'm going to be watching for potential longs if we get pullbacks this morning. This is that little high here. This is some previous lows here, right? So we had some reactions around this 423.40 area. That's something I will be watching if we get a pullback into it, right? Into this area here. So just watching, right? The same thing I've been looking for all week. It's the same concept. If we're pushing to the upside, look for the pullbacks, the previous rejection points. That's what you look for. Pullbacks to previous rejection points. And so that's, again, what I'm going to be watching today. 425, 424.70, 423, 423.40, right in that general area on the QQQ. ES. Holy shit. It's still going. ES. This chart right here, guys, has created clarity in my mind this week. And it is this right here, guys. This was the clearest chart for me of the week. This is what I actually attribute this chart to my success this week. And it's the SPX chart. The SPX chart has just created such a textbook gap up and gap fill hold that I just trusted pretty much all the first 2 days of this week, right? I trusted this 48.40 level with a lot of my trades. So we talked about this one, right? We talked about how Friday closed around 48.40. We talked about how the market gapped up on Monday morning. We talked about when the market gaps up, we want to fill gaps and we want to hold, right? We want to fill gaps and then we want to see if that level holds. And so that is exactly what the SPX did this week. That's what all the markets did this week. We gapped up on Monday. Right here, we gapped up, right? We pulled back over the last few days, maintained right above the Friday high. Absolutely perfect demand stepping up above that Friday high after filling the upside gap. So I was longing just all week with the idea of the ES, the SPY, the SPX maintaining that gap fill level. And that's really what has resulted in my success. So if we go to the ES, we can see that is pretty much the same thing. You can see it very clearly. We had that gap fill into that Friday high around that 48.75. You guys can see here, previous lows, right? And just a beautiful double bottom over the last 2 trading days, resulting in that upside push. So today, the levels that I'm going to be watching if we get a pullback, right, which is looking sort of hard to imagine, but if we get a pullback, which I hope we do, right, I hope we see something to the downside. This is going to be a level I watch right here, right, that 4,900 and then this 48.90. So I'm watching 4,900 and 48.90 as the 2 pullback levels that I would hope to see get tested today, but we'll see if it happens. 4,900, 48.90. And guys, this was a key hold yesterday. And if I go back to, let me show you how this set up. This was really nicely talked about yesterday in the group. So this is end of day yesterday in the group. This is around 3:48. This is right here, right? Right here, we saw the ES pop over that 48.90 level that we have been watching. And so at the end of the day, right? I said hold over 48.90 would be key here into end of day, right? Right here. This was a key hold right here, guys, at 48.90. Why is that so key, right? Why was that hold so key for upside continuation? That 48.90 was the level that had been rejecting the entire week, right? We had 48.90 rejections all right here. 48.90 rejections all right here. 48.90 rejection early morning yesterday. And look at how perfect end of day yesterday. We had a break and retest of that level. Look at this. Break, retest. Look at that hold at that previous high. And look how perfect that market just sort of maintained that high above that previous high. This right here was so key to end the day, right? That little break and retest of 48.90. And that is sort of what has set this sort of upside continuation off, in my opinion. So 48.90, crucial level. Very nice hold to end the day. That's why you're pushing higher. 4,900, big to watch as well. Now, to the upside, we got to go back, right? We got to go back here on the SPY. And to be honest, guys, if we go back to these levels, let's go ahead and I want to clean this up for just a second. Let me go to here. Okay, so if we look at this chart, right, and we go back to the all-time highs. First of all, the all-time high on this ES contract is 5,057. Okay, so we have that marked out. The next level that I think has supply is right around this 49.50, right? This 49.50, 49.60. It's in this general zone, right? Why do I have this level, right? I have this level because you can see right here, right? Look at this. Rejection, 49.50. Rejection, 49.50. Rejection, 49.50. Rejection, 49.50. Rejection, 49.50. Wick rejection, 49.50. Rejection, 49.50. And another one right there. So I believe, as of right now, that the S&P 500 futures are going to push into this 49.50 level, right? I think that's where we're going to test. And that's where you could possibly see, this market slow down a little bit, right? This is a big-ass level. This is from November all the way to the start of 2022, right, where the downside really started in 2022. It was all off this 49.50 level on the S&P 500 futures. So that's a big level there. And if I go into today's price action, right, let me go back to my other drawing tool. So if we go back to this market action, that's right here, right? You can see it right here. That's right there on the ES futures. So that's probably where the S&P 500 futures are going to head to. I don't know at what time or, when that happens, but that is likely, in my opinion, where we're going to push into, right? These all-time high levels have been wrong. Guys, it's not wrong, okay? It's just a different futures contract, okay? So the March 2024 contract is different than like an SPX. It's different than the SPY. It's a March 2024 contract. I'm just going off what's on my charts, guys. This is the true definition of trusting the levels, trusting the charts. I'm not going to call TUS and tell them that their March contract is wrong. 49.50, that's the level to watch above, right? That's the level to watch above, in my opinion. Very key there. And that's just a little bit of supply that I'd be, having on your charts to just be aware of. If we start to push into that area, just be aware of that, okay? All right, so 49.50, that's the level I'd watch. 4,900 if you get a pullback, and 48.90. If you guys don't want to watch the ES, if you're really concerned about everything being different for you, just watch the SPY and QQQ, okay? That's what I would do. If you're really concerned about that, you just got to pop into the SPY and the QQQ, okay? Those are going to be the same for everyone. If you're on the continuous contract, right, then that's the problem, right? Most of you are probably on the continuous contract, and it's going to be different for you. The continuous contract is different than what I'm looking at. All right. So here we go. SPY, right? This is what you should be paying attention to if you're very concerned about everything going on. You should be looking at the SPY. So the SPY is pushing through highs, right? What was the SPY level that we were watching, right? It's this Friday high that we held on a double bottom over the last 2 trading days, right? Friday highs, hold right here, and a hold right here. Very, very nice 482.70 demand hold over the last 2 days on the SPY ETF. We had the highs around 485, and we had those rejection points around 484, right? So today, what are you looking for? Today, if you can get it, you'd love a pullback to 485, right? You'd love this. If you're looking along this market, you would absolutely love a pullback to 485. That would present a great long opportunity off the previous high, right here, and look to see if that demand steps up. If we can get that, keep an eye on it, right? I would not be shorting into this move. I would be staying patient and waiting for your level to hit to look to see if that demand steps up, right? That's what I would be looking for today. If we don't get that pullback, then we're going to have to sort of just look at these short-term levels, right? If we don't get that pullback, we're going to have to use our intraday analysis to sort of get an idea, right? Where has the SPY sort of double bottomed? Where are some structure points that start to form on the SPY, right? I can see a little bit of pre-market hold here around this 486.80, right? We're going to have to do this type of analysis because we're at all-time highs, right? And this is sort of price discovery mode. So the real structural long that I would love to see would be 485, right? Back to this high here. This would be the best long, in my opinion, on a nice pullback. But if we don't get that, right? If we don't get that, then we're going to have to use our intraday sort of minds, our intraday analysis to just use that action as it sort of unfolds. We're going to have to use that action as it unfolds to find our levels. So right now, I could say, right around this 487 area, you can see a little bit of consolidation there in the pre-market, right? That could be a little pullback level to watch today. But this is what you're going to have to do intraday if you're going to want to spot these levels if you don't think we're going to get a pullback to that 485. But right now, 485 is really that key level for me. And that's really the only one I have confidence in as of right now, right? As of right now. Yeah, the market has to find levels. Absolutely, trader. That's pretty much, if you don't get this pullback, the market will have to find levels intraday, and you will have to react to those intraday, right? Because the only level that is below where we are right now that has been printed on this chart in an actual trading time, right? Not the pre-market, right? Not this action right here. The only other previous high that's been printed on this chart is 485, right? So that's really the level I want, right? But if it doesn't come in, that's the price discovery. That's watching what the market sort of forms intraday that we're going to have to do. So that's that. IWM. I still think IWM's looking for upside. I still think it wants to try to continue higher. Yesterday, you had a very nice hold of that 195 level. That looks to be the level to watch. I took a little loss on IWM yesterday, and here's why, guys. I really don't understand why 195. I mean, I could see it here, right? I could see some 195 action, a little bit of 195 action here, and of course that Monday low at 195. I could see why it held there. I was sort of trading off of the 196, which caused me to cut my trade and take a loss. I was trading off this little 196 low from right here, 1 and 2. See right there, that 196 low. So I was trading off that 196 and that 20 SMA level, and you can see yesterday, we sort of just broke under that, right? We had a downside move. We broke under 196. We rejected the 20 SMA, right? So I said, all right, I'm taking my loss here on IWM, but it ended up holding, it looks like, that 195. So a little bit of a loss on that one yesterday. Idea was right. Just had it looks like the wrong level by about $1 per share. I was looking to trade off this 196. So today, I would look to see what happens at these previous highs. It looks like it's around 198.50, right? That looks to be it, around this 198.50. I'd keep an eye on this level right here. That's that previous high from Monday of this week, right? We can see that right there, 198.50. If we hold above that, right, then we probably see continuation. And the continuation, in my opinion, could continue until around this 200 level, right? Let me go out. So I think the continuation possibly starts to or continues right into around this 200 area, right into that 200, some 200 here, 200 there, and that's definitely a psych level to be watching on this Russell towards that 200. Okay, the most important thing that I would look for, right, if the Russell is strong, is some small cap strength, right? Watch like the PayPals of the world, the Squares of the world, the Rokus. Keep an eye on those small cap names. If the Russell sort of squeezes and started pushing higher, keep an eye on those names. They could present some good opportunities. All right. Let's take a second. We got 2,000 people here. It's pretty awesome to see, man. I think we're getting somewhere with our live streams, man. I think I appreciate you guys being here. It looks like the 2,000 mark is starting to become the new standard for viewers, so I appreciate that, guys. If you could, press that like button for me. Let's get to 1,000 likes on the stream. That would be much appreciated. Let me take a sip of my water real quick, get hydrated before we continue. All right. So press that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We do this every single day starting at 8 a.m. Starting at 8 a.m. All right. So Tesla, have an ad. Go ahead, have an ad. All right. So Tesla, earnings today. I would not touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. Okay, that's my first. Make sure you're right. Make sure I put that into on the live stream, right? Just let me make sure I put that on the live stream. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, Tesla. The reason why, the IV on these contracts. Let me pull up my interactive brokers. Let's see if it can even show me. I don't know if it's going to be correct. Tesla IV on. Okay, so right now the IV is 96%. Now I'm going to guarantee that likely goes up at open. So there is going to be some serious implied volatility on Tesla. So make sure you pay attention to that. That is going to make a very difficult, it's going to create a very difficult environment to be trading options in. So I would be cautious there, guys. Options are going to be crazy expensive. If you get a move on Tesla, the contracts are barely going to move, and you're just going to sit there and be like, damn, these contracts ain't moving for shit. So I would be aware of that. It's in a shit show of a range. Every single pop gets sold into, right? You could look for something like that today if you really need to be a part of it. Look for a pop to get sold into, right? Look for those pops to be sold into. That's what it's done pretty much every day here. You get a pop, you get a big sell. You get a pop, you get a big sell. So if we get a pop today, maybe the trade is just to short the hell out of it. But I would just, right, the first time you try to mess around with that is the day that Tesla just keeps going. So I'm not going to mess around with it. Earnings are today. Be aware of that. And that's all I'm going to say to you today about Tesla. All right. Nvidia. So why did I have so much confidence in long Nvidia? First of all, go watch my video yesterday. You can understand why. But we have this 592 level that held again yesterday, right? Previous lows here. That's that Friday high. We had another low form yesterday at 592. And we created a very interesting little flag here that we squeezed out of end of day, right? We squeezed out of that downtrend end of day, and you can see that upside continuation. Now, Nvidia could be presenting a fantastic opportunity right now, and that is this right here. This looks very interesting to me. If we maintain over 602 today, right? If we maintain over this little high from yesterday in the after hours, 602 is the after hours high, which was also the previous highs here from Monday. If we fill this little gap, right, and pull back to that 602, and if you start to see us maintaining this 602 area today, this could absolutely present a long opportunity today on Nvidia. So I would 100% be watching 602. That could be a very interesting hold, right, and continuation off that level. If you break under 602, it's likely that you're going to trade back into towards this 600 area. This will be another key area to watch. 600 psychological level has been a difficult level to break above. I think that's another level you want to watch on a pullback towards that 600. If you break back under 600, I'm not too fond of it, right? I would want it, if you really want Nvidia to be a monster today, I think it really needs to hold above 602. All right, I think that would be where you really need Nvidia to hold above, is that 602 level. Right, that's this previous high. That's this little after hours high. That's the gap fill level. And I would want to see Nvidia hold that 602 level. So watch 602 today. If you break under it, I would monitor what happens at 600. That could be a psychological level to keep an eye out for. If you break back under 600, I'm not too fond of the longs, right? Not too fond of the longs. I'm definitely going to be profit taking some off this morning, right, on Nvidia. I'm not going to just, blindly hold these things. So I'll probably take half off this morning on Nvidia and see if this thing wants to hold 602. If it does, I'll look to trade it again. All right. AMD. So AMD, beautiful hold. This was the previous all-time highs on AMD at this 164.50, and you can see yesterday a perfect hold again at that 164.50 level, pushing higher off that level. We had this rejection point here at 169.50, which we are above this morning, and then we have this this little previous low here that I would be a little bit cautious of. We have this low here around this 173 area, and you can see we're getting a little bit of rejection there, right? A little bit of rejection there. So I would not long AMD into this level. I would want to see AMD get above this level. I'd want to see this, right? And then a hold above here for new longs, above around that 173 level. But the perfect long, in my opinion, would be this, right? This would be a really sexy long opportunity. I would look for this pullback to 169.50 today. This would be a very clean sort of structural upside move, right? You have this consolidation. You break out of it, right? You come back down into that consolidation. You hold it as a new low, right? And then you take a long off that level. So I think the best opportunity today is right here on AMD, back at 169.50. If you don't get a pullback and you just rip over this high, then you're looking to see a hold above 173. Okay? Microsoft, beautiful. Holding this swing trade. We've been holding this since the beginning of the week. We longed Microsoft off this 394. A very clean triple bottom that has formed here at 394 on Microsoft. Very clean structure there. Very clean demand hold at 394. We have these previous highs at 401. Right? And so this looks just like Nvidia. 401 previous highs on Microsoft. We have squeezed above that level. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a pullback and a hold of 401. That is what you're seeing right now. You have a previous high. You're slowly pulling back into that 401. Today, intraday, I would look to see if Microsoft can maintain this 401 area. If it can, potential long entry, right? Right off this 401 area. If you break back under that 401, I'm not in love with some of these levels. I think I'd want to be looking long here, right? I'd want to be looking long on a pullback to 398, right? Right here. If you break under that 401, I'd look for that pullback to 398, okay? So 401, 398, right? Those are my two levels to look for pullbacks. I would ideally want to see 401 hold, right? That would really be the clean long entry today on Microsoft, all right? It's called Demo Pro, guys. Demo Pro. I'll go ahead and pull it up here for you guys to see. I know a lot of questions have been asked. First of all, I got to give a shout out to Trade Brigade for him letting me know about this tool. It's right here. It's called Demo Pro. This is on the Mac App Store. If you guys have a MacBook, you can use Demo Pro to draw on anything. It's not just TOS, guys, right? I could draw anywhere. I could draw anywhere on my desktop. It just pretty much it gives you the ability to draw anywhere on your desktop. So, Demo Pro, MacBook App Store. All right. Let's go to, I know everyone wants to look at SMCI, so let's look at SMCI, all right? What's the level you're watching on SMCI today? 450. 450. Right? Yesterday you got over 450. I would look to see if you can hold that 450. It could be like this 460 as well at these highs, but I'm a little bit more confident in 450. So I would look for either that 460 or that 450 today. Those would be the two levels I'd look for. Right here. 450, 460, right? You have that 460 previous high. You have these 450 previous highs. Those are the two levels I'd look for. Okay? 460, 450. All right? Guys, come on, man. Are we asking me these questions right now? Why am I using a MacBook? All right, come on. It's not the time. I use a MacBook because I like MacBooks. There you go. What do I want to go over? I want to go over Shopify. That's the one that I'm in. The reason I'm in Shopify is this pretty interesting daily chart and 4-hour demand hold that's stepping in. So you can see right here, this is the Shopify daily chart. And we have these previous highs at the 79 level, right? And if we go to the hourly chart, we can see we have a very clean structure here on Shopify. We have this previous high, which has created a strong demand, right? Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. Sorry about that. So we have this previous high here and here, right? Has created this level. And you can see, I keep pressing the wrong damn buttons. Look at these previous holds, right, at this 79 area. And we also have that 20 SMA sort of grinding to the upside. So I like that little opportunity, right, to hold that 79, right? And if we push to the upside, this makes a lot of sense, right? You have a really nice structure above that previous double top high. I would keep an eye on this. If Shopify can get over 83, right, then this could be a really nice potential opportunity. I'd keep an eye on this Shopify here. Let's go to snow. I know everyone's, looking at snow these days too. I know it's been very hotly talked about. Snow is making a really big move, and it pushed over that 206, right here. This is what I would be looking for in the short term. You have a squeeze over this previous high. I would look for 206 to become a new low. That's what I would look for today, okay? In the extreme short term, guys. If you're really looking snow short term, in the extreme short term, you have to hold over 206, okay? That is a must-hold level in my opinion. You have a previous wick high from yesterday, and I would want to see that hold above. That is also, right, that 206 is not just a short-term level. If we go out, right, to the IPO of snow, right, this is the IPO. When snow IPO'd, the low of the IPO was 206. 206, right? 206 rejection right there, right? Look at all these major 206 reactions. Previous low, previous low, previous high. So if snow can hold above 206 today, this could be a rocket ship of a hold. I would watch that 206. Let's go to Google because Google is breaking over a pivot high here over 150. So if Google can maintain over 150 today, guys, I would look to see if that's a break and retest long. 150, you're trying to hold that right now. So I would absolutely be watching to see if Google can hold 150 today. If it can't hold 150, look for the pullback to 149. Okay? 150, 149. If you can't hold 150, look for 149. Okay? Amazon holding above a previous major high here. If we go to the hourly chart, you guys can see right here on the hourly, we have this very major previous double top high, right? 1 and 2. We have a rejection and a rejection right there. And right now, Amazon is holding above or attempting to hold above this 157. I think it's around this 157. It could be 157.20. I'm going to put my level at 157. And if Amazon holds above this 157, right, this could be a break and retest long. I would watch that 157 today. Meta, really nice hold of that level we talked about yesterday, that 380.50 level, right? You can see right here, very strong demand hold at that 380.50. And this morning, Meta is over this little high at this 388, right? 388, 388. You see these two highs at 388? Look at how it's holding above it, right? Look at how Meta is maintaining above this double top high at 388. So what would I look for? Pullback longs off 388. If you fall back under 388, not as interested in the upside. Why? Because you'd be falling back under a double top high, right? I would not want to be long if Meta's under a double top high, okay? You need Meta to maintain 388 today for long entries. Watch that 388. All right. I think the trade of the morning might be, right? I think the realistic pullback today is probably to that 17, that previous all-time high, right? That's probably the level to be watching on the Nasdaq futures. The QQQ It looks like it's around this 426.20. But again, guys, if you want to be a little bit particular today, right, if you really want to be patient today, if you really want to wait for the best possible setup, which I never think that's a bad idea, right? If you really want to wait for the best setup today and you don't want to get caught chasing any moves, this is the level to watch, right? This 424.70, this 425, that's really the level to watch. On the SPY, it's the 485, right? This is really the pullback that you want if you don't want to get caught in any type of chase. That's really the pullback that you want. You want to see, right? Because this morning, guys, right, this morning, you are going to see a gap on the chart, on the daily chart, right? This is after hours upside. So you are going to see a gap on the chart, right? From the close of yesterday, which is right around here, there's going to be a gap when the market opens. So what are you going to want to see? Probably the gap fill, right? And that's back to 485. So I'm just going to give you that, right? That's probably your best entry today. If you want to stay patient, I would look for the SPY gap fill to long the market. Okay? All right, guys. That's all I got. It's 8:50. I got to head over to the group. If you guys want to check out the Discord, I am running a little discount right now. 10% off your first 3 months. You can check that out. Links are down below. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for the likes, the 1,100 likes. That's awesome. I appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you for all the rooting on for my month. I appreciate you guys supporting me. I hope that you're having a good month as well. I hope that you're finding value, at least finding some trading opportunities off of watching the live streams. I hope it's helping you. Thank you. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow's the last live stream of the week. Once again, I will not be here Friday. So come in tomorrow, and I will see you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys. Peace.